Hi. I am confused and I've just been feeling weird lately. I figure I use this channel as my personal diary, so I figure I would just talk about that this week. I was just not gonna make a video, but this confusion state I'm in is just as much a part of the journey, and what you're witnessing is like a Rocky montage in real time, so it's not exciting. Surprise, when you splice together all of the highlights, it's exciting and it's fresh, but it might have taken months and months, if not years of time to get to that point, to be on that upward slope. I don't know. Oh, did I just dab? Am I bringing that back? No. As some of you know that have been following my struggle, I started therapy, I started a whole harm reduction strategy. I don't know, but I'm having like bigger problems on top of like that whole binge eating thing. I think it goes deeper than that even. So it started out, it's like, okay, I want to lose weight. And then we like dig a little bit and we find like this underlying problem, which is like my binge eating, and that's the reason why I can't achieve this. And then I'm having trouble with like the whole binge eating thing, and you have to dig a little deeper, find another problem. So we're like working toward the root of this whole thing. I don't feel like I'm having that much success in binge eating recovery, and I realize that it's something that's going to take time and it's going to take practice. But I think with the harm reduction strategy that I'm currently using, which, just a quick synopsis, is I'm still allowed to binge because that's what I use for comfort. I just reduce the amount I binge and try to replace the comfort I get from binge eating with other things that aren't as detrimental to my health. But I think that I'm realizing that a lack of patience on my part. I'm trying to almost talk myself into binging so I have a chance to do like the recovery part, if that makes sense, as opposed to just waiting until like I really need to binge or like really need to feel that comfort. I'm like talking myself into, okay, let's binge, let's do the harm reduction, let's get better sooner. So I'm trying to like speed it up that way, which is not really, doing anything for me other than kind of enabling myself in a way, like giving myself an excuse to binge, I guess, when I don't really necessarily need it emotionally. So I've noticed troubles with that. I don't know, my heart's just like not 100% in it. I can't find a reason, and I feel like that's because like the deeper problem we discussed, I feel like that's because I don't really feel that much of a purpose in life ever. I've been basically in this state of just freeze, no action, just everything's very cerebral. I'm just thinking constantly this past week. I've literally done nothing. That's why like there's no regular vlog. I've just been in this static state. Let me just preface everything by saying that I have hope that there is a way to get through this. I just have to find it. But as I've mentioned before, like my entire life, for a very long time at least, I've been depressed. And I don't know, I've been avoiding that word for like a number of reasons. It's terrible when people are like, oh, you're not depressed, you're still able to like get up and move around and do whatever, you still achieve things. And there's different types of depression. I don't feel like I need to like really go into that, but I have high functioning depression, which is like spanned over a long amount of time, and I'm still able to do things. I just get no joy or fulfillment from those things. And I'm also very high achieving. Like I'm a very goal-oriented person. I always get in these cyclical patterns of deciding I want to do something, putting my whole ass into it, and struggling and struggling and struggling and striving until I achieve that thing, and then it means absolutely nothing to me. Like I'm just like, okay, cool. And then I spiral into this, I feel aimless, I feel lost, I feel like I have no purpose again. So I don't know, and then repeat cycle. Like big goals, like my career, like becoming a graphic designer, people telling me that there's not enough jobs in graphic designer, that getting an art degree would be a waste of time and money, and then like eventually making that a success, and then buying my own house, like on my own without a significant other, in this economy. YouTube really wasn't my goal to like blow up necessarily. I just wanted it for maybe like a little bit of AdSense money on the side, and then like a video diary was successful in that, and not a lot of people are. I don't want to ever be like I'm not grateful for those things. I just don't ever feel any kind of internal peace, if that makes sense, when I do achieve things. And then that brings us to this weight loss goal. I was like, okay, this is my goal. this is what I'm gonna do. I worked really hard, like, to do the things and try to do it the smart way and the way that wouldn't be detrimental to my body. People are always trying to make it out like I tried a bunch of different diets, but I really only tried keto. I played around with like intermittent fasting. So like I would change the time of day I ate, but I was still eating the same amount of calories. So I don't really understand that whole thing. I switched up my exercises quite a bit with like different programs, but I've always heard that that's what you're supposed to do, like keep your body guessing kind of thing. So I don't really know. But yeah, I was pretty successful with the weight loss thing. I got down to like almost 50 pounds lost before I started faltering and really having trouble with my eating disorder. Things that have always triggered me is like Christmas, the holiday season. And once that hit, I just kind of got off track and then had a really hard time finding the path again. But yeah, so once I started therapy to get my binge eating in check, I just kind of lost my goal. So I was goalless again. So that's why I'm in this state of confusion and indecision, and I'm very confused for a lot of other reasons. For example, you know, like disrupting my whole thought process on what weight loss is and how to be healthy, and disrupting those like diet culture ways of thinking, and also just being moderate. Like, I don't know how to be moderate. I know how to do extremes. I know how to be extremely unhealthy, or I know how to be extremely healthy. And I don't know how to just be in the middle and be okay with that. I look at things either all good or all bad. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Okay, now we got a fridge in here. Just really not put together yet, but I will figure that out later. So that's an exciting development. But yeah, so like enough about the gloom and doom stuff, more about the hope, like what I found that was hopeful. And it actually didn't happen until last night. There was really no progress or really anything I had to talk about other than things that I've already said. You know, it was just very stuck. But last night I was watching this documentary, kind of like informational series on the human body. I'm very into that stuff. I love science. I love anatomy. I love all of that. They were talking about the brain, specifically like neuroplasticity, the fear response, just all of this different stuff that seemed to be speaking directly at me. Even stuff about the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. I'll kind of just dive into that really quickly because I thought it was really interesting. So basically you have this autonomic nervous system that's just like going by itself, and you have like two different sectors of it. You have like the parasympathetic nervous system, which is like what you just do at a state of being, you know, like digestion, stuff you don't really have to think about doing that your body just does for maintenance. And then you have the sympathetic nervous system, which is what your body kicks into when there's an external threat. There's like that flight or fight. And I thought this was really interesting because they didn't say this, but I kind of like related it to myself. So when you experience anxiety, or when I experience like ruminating thoughts or fears about things that I really shouldn't be afraid of, it's kicking in that response, that sympathetic nervous system response to like fight, flight, freeze. It's that when it's not necessarily warranted. It's not like I'm facing a bear or like there's a tornado coming or something, you know. So like your sympathetic nervous system response is like going off to the max. That's where you see like a lot of your panic attacks and stuff. Your heart starts beating faster, you're pumping blood to your legs and your arms and away from organs that don't really need it in that moment, because you're gonna need to like maybe fight or run the hell away really quickly. But yeah, when you're having this anxiety response, you don't really need that to happen, but your body still reacts in the same way. But what I thought was interesting was the host was saying that you could get yourself back into this parasympathetic, you know, like maintenance mode, like where everything's chill. We're just over here digesting way by taking deep breaths, calming yourself in some way. And then I thought in my head, I was like, and eating. Because if you're having that response, that anxiety response, and you start eating and signaling to your body like, oh, we're eating, we're digesting now. It's like tricking your body out of that sympathetic state into the parasympathetic state. And I was like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. So like I was getting excited about that and realizing, oh, my binging was tricking myself out of that panic and like calming my body down. There's like this physiological response, and it's amazing. It's like I'm compensating for an overactive fear response, overactive amygdala, and using this thing to like aid that. But what if I just go to the amygdala? What if I just go to the fear response, learn how to rewire that whole stuff? And then that's where this idea started rolling. I was like, okay, what if we make it science related? What if we turn this whole thing into a science experiment? What if I learn as much as I can about the brain and how it works and how to rewire it and how to trick it in a way to do what it's supposed to do. And then I was thinking about neuroplasticity, like all of these, you do a motion and maybe that's new and maybe you'll forget it if you don't do it, but if you keep doing the motion over and over again, it becomes ingrained, it becomes muscle memory, it becomes this whole thing that you just do. And I don't know, so like this is all very new. Like I said, like last night I just started thinking about this, but I've been kind of excited ever since. So that just kind of breathed new life into my whole struggle. Let me just tell you, I'm very excited to start researching, start figuring out some kind of plan, I guess just learning, specifically in relation to things that could help me in my own struggle, and then obviously sharing them with you. And sometimes things will work and sometimes things won't work, but like that's trial and error. So I feel like I'm kind of getting out of that static state, which is exciting. And I actually went to a store and I purchased some new running sneakers, which was very long overdue because the treads on my old ones were just completely demolished. And let me tell you, whatever this brand is, I don't even know. It's Q in like this little C. Oh, I guess the website's called onrunning.com. I would have never guessed that. I guess it does look like an O and an N. No one knows. No one knows. I've never heard of this brand before, but I actually went to a physical store. I tried on these shoes and they fit perfect. Like they felt comfortable right away. Typically when I buy running shoes, they fit lengthwise and then widthwise, they don't feel good. And I just hope that over time they kind of like loosen up and feel comfortable. And that's where I was with my old shoes and why I kept them, because they're in that comfortable state. So I bought these and then I ordered another color, which is kind of like white and then it has green in the back. And I'll pop those on the screen right here. I'll pop those links in the description if you're interested. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I don't even know what the brand's called, but people always just ask whenever I show something. So, you know, if you're interested in that, the information's always in the description. So in general, I'm just kind of more excited about life again. I was very much sinking into this purposelessness, nihilistic, just bad. But yeah, so I'm really gonna need to push myself, get out of this comfortable zone, because it turns out it's not that comfortable at all. And I feel like I'd have a more fulfilling life if I was more dynamic, if I was a little bit brave. And like, I'm brave on the internet, like I'll tell you whatever, like I have no shame, like I'll just put it all out there. But then it's so weird if you see me in the middle of a store trying to just like buy something for myself and there's other people around, like they're not even paying attention to me. I'm like panicking internally. And I also just like full on shut down sometimes. So it's like I really need to be combating fear in order to have like those fulfilling experiences in life. And that's scary, but that's the point. And then I'm just kind of hoping that weight loss is a side effect to all of the other things that I want to do in my life. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. I'm sorry if this video made no sense at all. I really, now that I'm thinking back on it, I don't know if there was like a constant stream of consciousness or if it was just chaos. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.